So where to begin? Well, let's begin with this one. You know, the toilet rat was reelected last fall on voter concerns about the price of health care. Right? Remember that? Efforts were being made to bring it down by the Biden administration. But like everything that comes out of the toilet rat's mouth, that was bullshit too. Everything he said during the campaign to the brain dead people who decided to vote for him, 77 million people that voted for this shithead. I'll never be able to understand that. But as the toilet rat's administration now eliminates all these different federal rules and programs that were designed to protect patients from high costs of health care, I just wonder, as this is going on, are people going to yet again forgive Donald Jesus Christ? Are they going to cut him more slack? What he's doing is pushing Americans into debt. Anybody who has health issues, which will further strain family budgets. Come on. Already stressed out by medical bills. Now, that's not all he has done. I'll get where it concerns medical indebtedness. Millions of people, it's been reported, I think Kaiser Family Foundation reported that millions of people are expected to lose their health insurance over the next several months. Most of this loss will come after the midterm elections. This is what the Christians did in order to hide their dirty fucking dealing against the American people. Christians hate people. Jesus Christ. But over the coming years, millions of people are going to lose health insurance as a result of the tax cut legislation that the toilet rat signed this month, which obviously is going to leave millions of people with fewer protection from large bills if they get sick or have an accident. But the toilet rat and the Christians who worship him do not give a fuck about you, your family, children, old people, pregnant women, new mothers. They don't care because they have a new Messiah, Donald Christ. And Donald Christ has instructed them. No more of this bullshit about worrying about people. They're on their own. And the Christians have fully agreed. Now, if you think I'm being too harsh on Christians, all I would ask you to do is take a look at what the Christians in the House and the Senate have done. And as I've always said, it's not the Jews doing this. No. It's not the Muslims or the Buddhists or the Hindus or the atheists or the agnostics or the gay folk. Or the Christians have taken from you, from millions of us, health insurance. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that Christ on the cross? Isn't that beautiful? Now, at the same time, these increases in health plan premiums. Do you have a supplemental health plan with your Medicare? If you're old enough to have Medicare, you probably do. I do. If you don't have the supplemental, Medicare will just fucking or the medical industry will just gouge the shit out of you. So you've got to have two policies. One of the policies is your Medicare policy, and if you're like I do, you just have the premium on that deducted before you get your Social Security check every month. And then you have to have a supplemental health plan to pick up what is left over when Medicare only goes so far, and the health insurance industry, such as it is, a corrupt, filthy, goddamn lying, cheating, fucking industry, they tell you, well, this is for you to pay. You got to pay this. Well, don't I have a supplemental insurance policy? Yeah, but this is left over. Left over from what? Left over from what we're not going to pay. We're not going to pay, asshole. You pay it. So there's three entities paying for my health insurance. Medicare, Medicare Supplement, and me. Really? So the increases in premium plan, or the plan premiums for supplemental health care, it's the increase is going to push a number of Americans to either drop coverage or switch to higher deductible plans where the monthly premium is left. And that will require them to pay more out of pocket before their insurance kicks in. Isn't this just a fool's trap that we're caught in this country? Isn't this just fucking unreal? And then the toilet rat comes along and makes a bad situation even worse. Now, there's some smaller changes that are going to bump up patients' bills as well, changes to federal rules. Right now, let me just move forward. New federal guidelines for COVID-19 vaccines, for example. Do you know how much that shit costs? COVID-19 vaccine. Next time you're in your CVS or Walgreens or wherever you go, take a look usually it's on the side of the cash register. It'll have the non-insurance costs, the non-government paid costs of a COVID-19 vaccination. I think you will just kind of blink your eyes thinking, oh, I couldn't be reading that right. But you are reading it right. So, new rules instituted by the Christians where it concerns COVID-19 vaccine, that's going to allow health insurance companies to stop covering the shots for millions of Americans. So if patients want the protection, you're going to have to pay out of pocket. And how much you're going to pay? Well, I guess it depends on your insurance carrier. It depends on the pharmacy that you go to for the injection or your private doctor, whatever. And the new tax cut legislation will also raise the cost of certain doctor visits by requiring copays for some Medicaid enrollees, up to $35 per visit. For a Medicaid enrollee, why is somebody on Medicaid? Because it is the least, the least affordable plan that they can have. So a $35 copay just to go visit a doctor is going to cause hardship to people who are using Medicaid. But it doesn't matter. This is the gift from the Christians. This is their gift. And it comes all wrapped up in a nice, neat fuck you. So here we are. And for those who end up in debt, medical debt, there are going to be fewer protections. This month, the toilet rat secured permission from a federal court to roll back regulations that would have removed medical debt from consumer credit reports. That's gone now. So if you have medical debt that you're struggling to pay, but you're always late, you're always delinquent, in some cases, do you pay for dinner? Do you buy groceries? Do you pay rent? Or do you pay this fucking horrendous medical debt? Maybe you have a monthly payment plan. And if you miss a monthly payment plan, zang, there goes your credit report, which will make it even more difficult to live in this putrid capitalistic shithole that we live in. So that puts Americans who can't pay their medical bills at risk of lower credit scores. You're familiar with the ubiquitous credit score, aren't you? And, excuse me, a lower credit score simply means that the ability of a person with that lower score to get a loan to pay off the medical indebtedness will force them to pay higher interest rates if they can get the loan to begin with. You see the trap? This is like catch 22, 23, 24, 25, endless. A staff attorney at the National Consumer Law Center said, quote, for tens of millions of Americans, balancing the budget is like walking a tightrope. The Trump administration is now throwing them off the tightrope. Huh? This is what 77 million Americans asked the Christians to do for them, and the Christians abso-fucking-lutely did it. Now, maybe the 77 million who voted for this goddamn Trump did not want this to happen. But how could they have not known it was going to happen? I knew it was going to happen. And I live in the fucking foothills of the North Georgia mountains. What do I know, right? But all these people who voted for Trump, deep state, Epstein, wow. Well, here you are, you dumb assholes. Here you are. So don't complain. And whatever you do during the midterm elections, Keep the Republicans in charge because these Christian fuckers have more of this planned for you. Oh, much more. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.